What's up, everybody? Welcome to my latest episode of my hip hop review. Yes, I am wearing a suit, and I wasn't planning on wearing a suit because I was not planning on doing this review today. I have a wedding to go to in about 30 minutes, so I thought I'd just get this review out the way. And the album I'm about to be reviewing today is You God's debut solo album, Golden Arms Redemption, released in 1999 on Priority Records under Wu-Tang. Singles albums known for are That's Gangsta and Bizarre. For those of you who don't know who You God is, well, you guys should know if you guys are Wu heads, but for those who don't know, he's an MC that was raised, who was born in Brooklyn and shit like that. He was raised in Staten Island, and he got started by originally being a beatboxer for Capadonna and shit like that. Because I think I mentioned in the Pillage review that I think Cap was supposed to be an original member of the group and shit like that. And then, well, You God replaced Cap. And so he met like future Wu members like Raekwon and Deck and all that. And so while when Cap went to jail and shit, You God took over. Because Capadonna mentored You God low key. And of course, 36 Chambers was released in 93, but you don't hear him that much because in 92 he was convicted for controlled substance and shit, so that's why you hear him less. And I feel like that's why like people kind of shit on him like that, because of the fact that, which I will get into later on this synopsis, let me say that, but you hear him less because he had like a short verse in Protect Your Neck, The Mystery of Chess Boxing and shit like that. So once he got out and shit like that, he appeared on the Wu-Tang Forever, and I believe that one of the reasons why he kind of gets hated is the song Black Shampoo, which when I reviewed the Forever album, I think back like 3 years, I kind of didn't like that track either, low key, and plus like he has that very deep monotone voice and shit, which I'm gonna talk more about once I review this album. And so around that time too, where his son actually died and shit like that because he was accidentally shot. So he did a dope verse on A Better Tomorrow and shit like that. So, and between like late 97, 99, he came out with this album right here. So yeah, Golden Arms Redemption. Now, to be honest with you, I purposely saved this album last before Supreme Clientele because I always felt that You God was unfairly hated, to be honest with you. And so I've heard this album years back, but I really don't remember. I remember it has some dope bangers and shit, but yeah. So this is Golden Arms Redemption, the album cover. Very dope, got that late 90s fashion, the leather vest and shit like that, with the white beard and shit, you know what I'm saying? Just You God posing and shit. Yeah. There's some credits and shit, nothing really to it. Yeah. Alright, producers on this album include RZA, who is actually an executive producer, Bink, Hack the Navigator, Homicide, Inspector Deck, he returns to produce, John the Baptist, Omonte O'Ward, and True Master. Yeah. Guest appearances include Leatherface, Inspector Deck, Method Man, Hellraiser, and Raekwon. And it also has additional vocals from Dre with the Y and E Rashad. Alright, I have to be quite honest with you guys as well. A lot of these songs, most of these songs on this album is like some braggadocio songs, so I might not talk about every song on this album and shit. I'm just gonna run down and shit like that. So, track number, I'm not really gonna talk about anything, you guys, because it's really, in my opinion, it's really nothing. Just a standard rap intro from like the late 90s, I would say. Track number 2, Turbulence. That's a very cool song. Shoemaster killed that beat and shit like that. Yeah, very dope song. Track number 3, Glide. Inspector Deck produced that song and Leatherface featured. It's a cool song. I like it, but I felt like it was a bit too long for my taste and shit. Still, Inspector Deck, you know, he was at his prime around this time, you know, producing, putting out very dope guest appearances and shit, so I'll let it slide, you know. That's Gangsta. That was alright. Soul Dazzle. That was my shit right there. I love Soul Dazzle. That's like one of my favorite songs because his energy and delivery was very on point and shit like that. Very dope. I love that beat too. Has like a very blaxploitation feel, blaxploitation feel, which I will talk more about once this review is over. What's the next song I want to talk about? Bizarre was cool. Rumble featuring Leatherface, Inspector Deck, and Method Man. Oh my god, Rumble that's a dope ass song and shit. That beat by Inspector Deck, Jesus Christ. Like Ninth Chamber, this is like one of the most slept on Wu Posse cuts and shit. Like, they all delivered, but if I was to pick who had the best verse, I would say Method Man and shit. Like, hold on, let me pull up some shit. Yeah, that's a very dope song, and also with that song and shit, it was actually featured on the Wu-Tang PlayStation video game, which I know all my heads know about that shit. So yeah, that's a very dope video game and shit. I used to have that as an emulate, as a ROM and shit, but I kind of deleted it, which I kind of regret. But yeah, a lot of people shitted on that game, but I fucked with it. Alright, some of the lines from Method's verse was like, I chin check all these MCs, line them up, God, I go jihad, declare holy war, it be hard to dip and dodge, police squads trying to Bulgari, rip and rob, the boulevard ain't safe for you kids, that's how it is, in the ghetto we ain't scared to death but scared to live. Like, that shit right there, oh my god, it's, like, Meth was just at his prime at that time and shit. Very dope song. What's the next song? Hold up, my computer's acting up a little bit. Give me a second. Oh, and while I'm getting my shit together, I'm actually planning on, me and the Speak Your Clout podcast, we're gonna do a review on Supreme Clientele this Thursday at 3 o'clock and shit like that. So stay tuned on that. Track number 8, Pleasure or Pain, featuring Hellraiser. That was a pretty cool song. He was talking about keeping your head up and shit like that. All this shit goes through this life, but you still gotta keep your head up at the end of the day. Track number 9, Stay in Your Lane. In my opinion, this is like my favorite song on this project. That song is a certified banger. Self-explanatory. He's talking about like sucker MCs, you know, who show out and shit like that, and you guys are saying stay in your lane, you ain't really lyrical and shit like that. Very cool song and shit like that. Track number 10, Shell Shock, featuring Leatherface, Raekwon, and Hellraiser. Again, another dope posse cut and shit. Raekwon killed this shit, in my opinion. I felt like the beat could have been a little bit better, but it is what it is. Lay down, could have done without that. Hungry, I didn't really like Hungry like that. I saw where he was going with that song, but I didn't like the way that song was mixed and shit. Turbocharged is track number 13. Very good song. This is probably my second favorite song off this project. RZA actually made that beat, and that was actually a very different beat from RZA, because I was reading up on this album, and a lot of diehard RZA heads don't even like that beat, but I felt it was a dope beat. Very different from RZA, very experimental and shit. And it fit You God and shit, you know what I'm saying? And you also gotta remember, like, between 97 and 99, he was really adding like a lot more strings in his music and shit like that. So, yeah, you gotta really think about that specific era of RZA though, but And track 14 and 15, Knocking on Your Door and Night the City Cried. Those were okay, but I could have done without those songs. Even though Night the City Cried is a very dope story and shit. Okay. My thoughts. Now, I've really tried to be open-minded about this album. That's why another reason why I saved this album for last before Supreme Clientele. This is actually not a bad album. Yes, it has some major flaws though, but I would have to say this is one of the albums I felt was a lot more, had that traditional Wu sound and shit like that. Let me talk about U-God. He is not the most lyrical as Ghost or Jizza. His delivery is not like Method Man or even Old Dirty Bastard. But his deep voice, at the same time, when he has the right beat, it works well and shit. That's my best point and shit, you know. I do feel like he gets unfairly hated on at that point because with the album, it has more like a blaxploitation feel to it. Because like it has like it was required more 70s samples and shit like that, because with the previous Wu solo albums I've talked about, like RZA's Bobby Digital and Raekwon's Immobilarity, I felt like with those albums and shit like that, it was a bit too, production was kind of like a bit too experimental and shit, or in my opinion, it really feel like Wu and shit like that, you know. Well, I kind of feel like with RZA executive producing this, and you know, have like a lot of limited guest appearances, another plus on this album. It is a certified plus, you know. It's not like the best Wu solo album, but if you love bangers and shit like that, this is definitely the album for you. And surprisingly, this album is actually out of print, and there's a reason behind that, because I think like around that time Priority Records was about to shut down and shit like that. And so, you know, this album, you know, got lost in the shuffle and shit, because it was not really a popular album by like a lot of Wu heads, you know. And to this day it still gets like its fair share of criticism. So I kind of feel like it was fucked up, because, you know, they still have like, you know, all these other Wu albums in print and shit like that. But this album kind of got lost in the shuffle, and it's his debut solo album. I kind of feel like that's kind of fucked up, but it is what it is on the powers to be. So yeah, U-God's Golden Arms Redemption and shit like that, released in 1999. And thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, another announcement I forgot to mention. Tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, me and Tribero, we are going to break down Heavy D and the Boys' discography. So stay tuned on that and shit like that. So yeah. Shout out to Tribero, shout out to Speaker Cloud. And thank you guys also, another thanks to you guys so much for watching the 5th anniversary special. So yeah. You God, Golden Arms Redemption. Peace.